How important is the Strait of Hormuz right now? And even if we don't necessarily see a closure, just disruptions in that region?
I mean, massively important. 20% of the world's oil is flowing there and a roughly equivalent amount of the world's gas. What is particularly challenging right now is some of the jamming that's happening on GPS devices and the like, which is a concern. The Straits of Hormuz is, at the end of the day, the artery through which the world's energy is flowing. And if that artery is clogged for whatever reason, it'll have a huge impact on global trade. And so Shell, of course, has a very broad portfolio of assets. We have to already anticipate if, for whatever reason, those arteries get clogged, we have to think about other means to be able to supply our customers from other locations.
Are you trying to look for alternative supplies at this point?
We have multiple production points, both oil and gas, that we would need to be able to mobilize to fulfill our customers' needs. But there is no question that a 20% impact for the supply of both oil and gas will have massive implications for the world's energy system.
At least when it comes to the price of energy assets at the moment, what are you seeing in terms of how sustainable can this rise be?
Look, it's at this stage, it's not based on fundamentals. So what you are seeing is a lot of the non-fundamentals that are playing out. And what I mean by that is, of course, not just wars, but where the current economic realities are with tariffs, some of the fragmentation and the alliances that we have traditionally seen. It is a changing of the world order as we've known it, and of course energy flows will follow that. We no longer have the same fluidity with which those molecules have flown in the past, and now we need to be able to set ourselves up for some new realities which the world is demanding.
It's interesting because just a few weeks ago, we were just discussing oversupplying the markets, whether it's OPEC plus production or global LNG supplies rising. And all of a sudden, are we skewing the risk now more towards undersupply, given the tensions in the Middle East and also other issues that you mentioned around trade, tariffs, and just the fragmentation?
I'd say in both oil and gas markets, what we see is a good, balanced, healthy market at the moment. These extreme discontinuities, if they happen, such as the one you mentioned around the Straits of Hormuz, that of course changes the entire balance. I mean, you take a 100 million barrel per day market, which is the oil market, and we have seen wild swings in prices on the back of hundreds of thousands of barrels rather than millions of barrels that have been taken out of the market. And so if there is a true physical disruption of 1 million, 2 million, 3 million barrels, that can have massive impacts on the market.
There's a lag, though.
There is a lag, and that's because there's still the question of whether the risk factor that has, of course, bumped up prices is going to actually be translated into a physical disruption. The minute that you actually see a physical disruption, you could have a much more pronounced impact.